Welcome to the Sports Trading Card Hall of Fame. Today I'm going to be doing, I believe, my 5th book report on sports card channels, and my second time doing one that's actually themed, which I'm really excited to be able to do this, where for this theme I'm doing it based on teachers. Now this is looking at actual teachers who have YouTube channels, because like in my own case, I have a YouTube channel called The Sports Card Professor. The reason I chose that was not because I wanted to be thought of as a teacher. I'm not one. I may have a master's degree, but that doesn't mean that I'm equipped to educate. Instead, I chose the name because I wanted for people to understand that the videos are well-researched, well-prepared videos that are intended to teach you the ins and outs of card sets. It was intended, I chose it for the specific purpose of showing you the care that was put into the channel and into the videos. And I hold that very strongly in my own perspective when I look at when that is used. And so if you're not a teacher and you're using a term like teacher or professor, it's really got to mean something. But what I have fun with is that I'm the only person that I know of who really does a comprehensive, well, okay, Mangini also does something similar, but other than our two channels, I don't know of anybody else who actually sits down and does a truly structured, well-researched video channel on content for sports cards. So this is basically a hobby for all of us, even though there are a number of monetary channels, a number of investment channels that like to think of themselves as being educators. This is a hobby. That's what we're doing. And I love the fact that there are a lot of teachers who have YouTube channels where they don't shy away from being teachers. And I wanted to do a video looking at 5 channels where they lean in on being teachers. Ultimately, I have 3 here, and then there are 2 others that were suggested to me by a viewer like you, or one case, you, that I added on as well that are both educators, but they don't really talk about it. And so that fills out the top 5. But the first of these channels is the channel that inspired me to do this, which is the Sports Card Ripping Teacher. And I believe his name is Vince. Seems that that's the case. This is a channel that has almost 1,500 subscribers. It has a little over 1,000 videos, and he's been making videos since 2022. He is a teacher, and the channel is really built around opening packs during his break at school. He's literally sitting at his desk at break in his teacher's space, at his teacher's desk, ripping packs of cards. That's not the only thing that he does. He also will go to like card shows with his sons, and he'll do some other things, but he rips packs and he kind of talks about cards and talks about, well, sports is a big thing he talks about, because he's from South Chicago, and for some reason he chose to be a Packers fan, and even more bewilderingly, he chose to be a Cubs fan. So he is surrounded by fans of other teams that allow for a very fun dynamic between him, his colleagues, and even his students. So you get to see that kind of playing out quite a bit. Sometimes he will team up with other Packer fans on YouTube, and they'll have little exchanges as well, which is kind of fun. But the student component is what makes this channel really special, because he does not bring any of his students onto camera. He's a second grade teacher, so that'd be a really dicey thing. But they do know about the channel, and they actually kind of participate. They help him to make decisions about things he's going to do on his channel. So he's got kind of a cool teacher vibe by having this YouTube channel, which is really, really pretty cool. And it's something that makes the channel very, very distinct. But like I said, he mainly just rips packs and goes to card shows on rare occasions and does some of the contest exchange kinds of things that we see on other channels. And then the second channel is the Sports Card Teachers. This is 2 guys. It is Jason and Sean, and I think they're newly back into sports cards. But what they're doing right now is they have a motto, which is turning a hobby into a business. And they are on their journey of turning sports cards into a financial opportunity for them. And they're kind of taking you along for the journey, but it's not like a diary. They're basically, as they're going through and learning things, they're giving you advice about making money on cards, selling cards, making good decisions, things of that nature. This is something that we haven't been seeing that much lately, as opposed to 2 to 3 years ago. There were a lot of channels that were out there doing this kind of thing. So this is kind of a new take that they're approaching. They have 1,000 subscribers. They have a little over 150 videos, as I recall, and they've been doing it since 2023, so they're still pretty new to it. But they are modern collectors, and they rip packs, and so that's really kind of the spirit of their channel. The third channel is the HighPopProfessor, and this is the newest of all these channels. It's still up and coming. He has over 400 subscribers, less than 100 videos, and he's been running this since 2024. So at the time I'm doing the video, he started last year. Now, he is also a teacher. He's a math teacher, as I recall. And his name is Brian. And he is basically, he's giving you kind of advice about collecting. And he talks a bit about his own collection. He's a Maddox collector, Greg Maddox collector. 80s and 90s is really his sweet spot, so he's in the same space as I am. He does do a podcast with his brother from time to time, who has his brother's digital presence is Iconic Baseball. So they'll talk from time to time. Something I think is kind of cool about Brian's channel here is that he has a tendency to slide into the same rhythm as Mangini, which I like that, because in YouTube, oftentimes we'll adopt something from another channel, a channel that we respect, or something we see we'd like to adopt that. And so when he gets into that rhythm of talking like John Mangini, I always enjoy watching that, because it connects to me as a creator. I think it's really kind of fun. But he's newly back into cards, and so that's kind of part of the spirit of the channel that he's created. Part of what drives him forward and why he has it structured in the way that he does. And then the last two channels are the two channels not branded as teacher channels. The first of these two is MidLife Sports Cards. This is, as far as sports card channels go, this is the big boy on the block of all of these. Over 6,500 subscribers, less than 600 videos, and he's done this since 2022. So he has really connected well with audiences. And that is because he has he does really long form videos. The videos that he does are half hour to an hour long. I mean, they really do take up some time, but he goes into really talking about issues regarding sports cards. But this isn't a hobby news channel. He is in the vintage space. So he's talking about card shows, and he's talking about issues like, grading and that type of thing, but he doesn't really get into the typical types of trappings that we're used to with a hobby news channel. And he is, he is well respected for that. And he does oftentimes talk with other hobbyists on his channel with, collaborations. So that is kind of the nature of his channel. But I do want to note that he is a teacher in Sacramento, and for me, that connects pretty strongly, because I grew up in the foothills above Sacramento. So this is kind of like a hometown channel for me, in a way. And his name is Greg, but it's not spelled the way that you would normally see Greg spelled. It's something really kind of unique that I think is kind of cool. And again, I kind of connect with that, since people misspell my name all the time as well. So yeah, that is his channel. And then the last one is Tyler Tarver. That is the name of the channel, and it is headed by Tyler. So this is a channel that is the most unique of all of these, because he has 122,000 subscribers, 29,000 videos dating back to 2007. But the reason is because his channel did not start off as sports cards. It started off as a YouTube diary / place for educational videos, almost like YouTube flashcard videos in a way. And so that's really the core of what he's done over all these years. I don't know if he's ever been a teacher, but he has been involved with education for a long time. In fact, he even has a doctorate. So the channel was really that for the core of its existence, and then fairly recently he shifted it over to being about sports cards. Now, the videos that he does about sports cards are done mostly as a hobbyist, where he talks about, like, he's a big Jordan Love collector, and he likes the Warriors, Steph Curry, and Jordan, of course, who doesn't? And so he collects those, and he gets to show off cards that he's gotten, but mostly he tends to talk about the not quite hobby news, but kind of advice on buying and selling and that kind of a thing as he's getting back into the hobby. So that's kind of the gist of his channel. His son does show up on camera from time to time, but something I gotta note is that he is very, very high energy. I mean, he talks fast. And I'm the kind of person who, whenever I'm around somebody with like a nervous tic, I tend to develop that tic during that time. I don't quite catch up to the pace of it. I tend to get kind of exhausted. I don't mean this as a bad thing, just something to kind of keep track of. It's not a channel to binge watch, but it is. He does a good job with his channel, but one thing I'll tell you is he really does enjoy what he's doing. I mean, the joy of what he's doing just comes through so well, and that's something I really like about the channel. And he has a podcast called Sports Cards Are Dope. Well, yep, I agree with you on that. And so that's the nature of his channel, and that is a look at all 5 of these different channels. Interesting to see the different types of channels across all these these 6 different educators who have created their own YouTube channels. And it was fun to go through all of this as well. So I'm going to be, I don't know how regularly I'm going to be putting these videos up. I mean, I've been working on this thing for 2 weeks, so it's taking a long time to do the videos. But if you have any unique channels that you would like to see me cover, or you feel would be good for me to cover in this series of videos, definitely let me know. I'll do my best to try to get these videos up more frequently. I'd like to if I can possibly, find the time to do it. Because I do think it's important to try to pull this stuff all together. But I appreciate you watching all these videos, or the video of all these different channels. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you very much for watching.